Can you obtain service connection by submitting only a Nexus or IMO, also known as independent medical opinion? In today's video, I'm going to answer that question, so make sure you stick around. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89 VA Claims Consulting, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Today's video, can you obtain service connection with only a Nexus and or independent medical opinion, also known as IMO? But before I answer that question, make sure you go out and pick up my new book, VA Claims Success is definitely a game changer for active duty service members and veterans as you go through the VA claims process. So today's video, can you get service connected with a Nexus and or IMO? The answer is probably not, and here's why. You have to understand first what goes into a Nexus statement. You have the veteran's name, date, Social Security number, evidence review, medical opinion, rationale, and the doctor's information. That's it. So if you have a copy of your VA claims folder, okay, it'll come in a manila envelope like this and a CD in a white package, okay, and you go through it and you look at a C&P exam that you previously completed. If you had one, you'll see two things. You'll see the C&P exam, which is the DBQ, and the Nexus statement. So if a veteran just submits that Nexus statement with that information that I just explained, and it's a positive opinion, how does the rater know to assign a 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%? So if you do that, the VA employee has to schedule a C&P exam because they don't know, based just off of the Nexus and IMO, what percentage to assign. And also, it might not be a bad idea to find out when do you need a Nexus statement. But before I get into that, in the training that I did in July and in my book, I share examples of Nexus statements. Okay, so if you have the book or you hadn't got it and you need a Nexus statement and a DBQ, go out and look at what goes into that Nexus statement. Okay, now, I cannot tell you, please do that, because it's going to save you a lot of heartache. Now, when do you not need a Nexus statement? If you are already service connected, you don't need a Nexus. The Nexus has already been completed because you're service connected. Okay, I've talked to several veterans. One veteran said, hey, Dwayne, I paid $1,500 just for a Nexus statement. I said, well, where's your DBQ? What is that? And then come to find out, the veteran was already service connected. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe they put the current residuals in the Nexus statement. And so I read the criteria for the next higher percentage for what the veteran was claiming an increase for. I'm like, is that somewhere in the Nexus statement? Nope. And then he went back and asked for a DBQ, and they were going to charge him even more money. So not only do you need to know what goes into a Nexus statement, you also need to know when do you need it. Okay, so if you're claiming something on a direct basis due to service, you documented treatment, you have a copy of the VA claims file on CD. If you're claiming something secondary to a service-connected condition, those are some examples when you need a Nexus statement. But you have to be educated on when do you need it and what goes into it, okay? Because as a prior VA rater myself, when I received that claims file and it only had a Nexus, I'm requesting a C&P exam. I had to because nothing in the Nexus statement would give me the authority to grant the increase or even grant service connection, even if it was a positive opinion. I've seen veterans say, oh, I'm claiming a back condition. Actually treated in service for a back condition. Submit a Nexus statement, date, name, social security number, evidence reviewed, positive medical opinion, rationale, and all the doctor's information. Okay, so I'm like, man, I can grant. I'm flipping through the file, looking for the DBQ. Now I got to schedule the veteran for an exam. Now, when the Nexus statement was sufficient and there's no DBQ, when I submitted that medical request for that C&P exam, I didn't ask for a medical opinion. I got you with that one, okay? Let me bag up. If you have a sufficient Nexus, and I'm like, wow, only if the veteran had the DBQ, I could go ahead and grant the benefit. I would only request a compensation and pension exam without the Nexus because the veteran already submitted it. I just needed to know for that back condition, what was the veteran's range of motion, forward flexion, extension, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Does he or she have radiculopathy? Okay? Of the lower extremity, sciatic or femoral nerve. So I needed, what are the residuals? I could use that Nexus statement, that positive sufficient Nexus statement they sit in, okay, and grant the benefit. Now, these raters today, different breed. I guarantee they're not going to do that based on what I've been seeing from some of my clients and what other veterans have been telling me. They're just scheduling the C&P exam outright, regardless if the Nexus is sufficient or not. They ordering both, the DBQ and or Nexus. They're just scared or whatever, and they don't want to just request the exam without the medical opinion, okay? So as always, and I cannot stress enough, you, the veteran, have to be educated on the VA claims process, okay? Because I guarantee a lot of you didn't know, hey, well, I submitted a sufficient DBQ. Only thing the VA needs to do is request a C&P exam. Or you can get your own DBQ. But do not think that, hey, I'm submitting this Nexus statement, that's all I need. The rater needs to know what are your residuals as it pertains to that condition you are claiming. Stop trying to take a circle and put it in a square. So many vets ask me all the time, well, Dwayne, well, what about this way? Or what about that way? No, it's the way that I'm explaining it because that is the VA regulation. We also have to keep in mind some VA employees are not following the VA regulation, okay? We can talk about it now till the cows come home, but you're not going to change their mindset. But you can change your mindset and get educated. So if you have to go before the judge, BVA judge, or do a high-level review before the decision review officer, the DRO, you're armed with that education. And you can say, hey, this is what I submitted based on this regulation or M21 reference. And in this rating decision, the VA rater failed due process because of X, Y, and Z. Okay? That's the education piece that I'm trying to stress to you. So, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.